it is very, very possible to plan your own Disney trip. However, you will miss things, important things. Let's just be honest. It is expensive to go to Disney, whether you go for 1 day or 1 week. It is not a cheap vacation. And so wouldn't you want to make the most of your time there?
Are you an RV person? Or are you just RV life curious, wondering how people live in a tiny space with their family 24/7? Either way, this is a podcast for you. My name is Kate White, and I travel full-time with my family and 2 kids and the dog in an RV. Every week, I sit down either with a fellow RV woman to discuss why she chose RV life and how she has changed on the road, or with a special guest who speaks on a topic relevant to travel life. Pull a chair up to the fire and let's chat. Amanda Dixon, welcome to the RV Queens podcast. Where in the world are you right now?
I am in San Diego, California right now for the next few weeks or so. It's nice and gloomy here.
Oh, no, shoot. Well, I'm in Orlando and it's gloomy here too, so must just be one of those days. I'm so excited to chat with you today. We are going to dive into your Disney expertise in just a minute. But before we get there, I want to talk about your personal journey for a little bit. Pre-RV life. What did your life look like about a year and a half ago before you guys started living and traveling in your RV?
It's hard to remember life before travel life. So before travel life, we were living in outside of Houston, Texas, in what we thought was our dream house. You know, we built it. We picked out all the finishes. It was 3,000 square feet. It had a pool. And yet we still just were not, it wasn't right. So we had lived in Texas for about 2 years. Prior to that, my husband and I were both born and raised in California, Southern California. We just, were feeling that kind of call to change, time for a change, time to do something different. So we tried Texas and that wasn't it. And then we thought, well, since we don't really know what the next step is or where we want that to be, let's travel around a bit and try to figure that out, which I think ends up making things even more confusing at first. We decided in December of 2022 that we were going to full-time, and then we hit the road in February of 2023. So we made it happen pretty quick.
That's amazing.
And haven't really looked back.
Yes. Yeah, I can totally relate with that because we, same thing. We hit the road to try to scout out a new place to live. And then we found all kinds of great places. And now it's like, how do you just pick? Or should we just keep traveling forever and ever?
How do you pick one?
I know.
Could I have a house here and here and here? How do I make that work? Or,
The more you meet other people on the road, you learn about all these other lifestyles. Like some people do, even people with kids, not just retired people, do half a year in each place, or they'll do like summer one place, go see family around the holidays, and then spend winter another place. And it's like when the world is open to you, it's like all the possibilities are available. That's a good problem to have. It's a good problem. From getting to know you in the RV Queen circles, of which you've been a member for a few months, and I love it. And even like we had the opportunity to meet up at a campground in real life, which was super fun, and I loved it. I know that you are huge into Disney. Tell us why Disney has such a special place in your heart.
Disney is a passion of mine. Like I said, I grew up in Southern California and was just about 20 minutes away from Disneyland. So I always, ever since I can remember, went to Disneyland several times a year to celebrate milestones, to spend time with family who was traveling in, to go when I needed like a cheer up. It has always been a place for me where the magic happens. I don't know what they pump in the air, but being immersed in the Disney bubble has always been just a place where some of my happiest memories have been created with friends, with family. When we started traveling, had the opportunity to go to Disney World. And then my love for Disney just expanded exponentially because it's a whole nother animal over there in Orlando. I love Disney because it's where really happy family memories are made. I love Disney because they pay so much attention to details. There's so many little details that really make it stand apart from any other family vacation. I love Disney because it's for everyone. It's for 2-year-olds. It's for 85-year-olds. It's for boys, girls, theys. It's for people from Europe. It's for everyone. Everyone has a place at Disney, which led me to start helping other people plan their Disney vacations as a family. Because while it's magical and wonderful and can be like the trip of a lifetime, there's also a lot of nuance and details that go into visiting the Disney parks or going on a cruise or any of those things.
And I have to agree that there's something about Disney when you walk in, it's like everything is so well done. Like there's no corner that hasn't been taken care of. You can go have a high-end experience at some place. I can't even think of an example, but you like walk around a certain corner. It's like, oh, that wall needs patched, or like, oh, the paint needs fixed here. But in Disney, it's like they are so obsessed with the customer's experience. You never find the creepy hidden corner that's like, oh, somebody needs to pay attention to that. Like they keep an eye on every single detail, and it's astounding. It really is magical. I love it that you have found something that lights you up, and now you are pursuing it to help other people have those happy experiences. It's such a gift. So thank you for sharing it with us. Okay, so you've been a travel agent for a while, but you recently became like Disney focused or like Disney certified. Will you tell us, how do you become like a Disney specific travel agent?
I don't work for Disney per se. I work for a travel agency, or I am an independent contractor for a travel agency. And it's my choice to focus solely on Disney travel. I've also completed a training with Disney called the College of Disney Knowledge. So I went through extensive training with them about all of their parks, resorts, all of their cruise ships, their resort in Hawaii, Aulani. My expertise and my specialization of planning Disney vacations comes from my passion for doing it and the extensive amount of time that I spend in the parks getting firsthand experience to share with my clients. As we're traveling, we're in Orlando a few times per year for months at a time and have annual passes. So anytime there's a new festival at Epcot per se, or there's a new ride has just been reopened after refurbishment, I am there with my feet on the ground, checking it out in person, and then sharing what I've learned with my clients based on their preferences. So I chose to focus on Disney because, like you said, it does light me up. I feel like it's the best feeling in the world for a client to reach out to me when they get back and say, we had the best vacation. Thank you so much. Like, that's what life is all about, right? Spending time with your family and making those memories. And if I can help families do that and take some of the stress out of it, that's the ultimate goal. And planning other vacations, like different types of cruises or different types of vacations, I can still do. They just don't light me up the way that planning Disney vacations do. I think that shows that translates through when I'm working.
Yeah, you can tell your passion to help people just right off the bat. It's so great. I really want to get into some Disney travel tips. And I know I'm going to like preface this with, you just explained that you can help people with Disney cruises, going to Disney in Hawaii, going to Disneyland, going to Disney World. Like there's lots of different facets. For this conversation, I'm going to focus mostly on Disneyland and Disney World because that's kind of like most RV travelers that are listening, that's probably where we're going to be landing in the US. So first of all, this might be a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's the main difference between Disneyland and Disney World?
That's not a dumb question at all. Not at all. There are no dumb questions. I don't believe there are. So Disneyland is, it's what the Disney adults or Disney fans will call Walt's Park, right? So Disneyland in Anaheim was the very first theme park that Walt Disney built. It was his dream, his imagination brought to life, the original Disneyland park. And because of that, it has a very special type of charm. It's just kind of like one of those, you want to see where the magic started things. And then there's a second park at the Disneyland Resort called Disney's California Adventure. And that is really focused on California and like the history of it. And, there's a Hollywood area, there's a Route 66 area, there's a boardwalk area, and it's fantastic too. But those are the only two parks that you'll find at the Disneyland Resort. And so it's a little bit smaller, more compact. Disney World in Orlando is a much bigger animal. So it is the size, the Disney World property in Orlando is the size of San Francisco. And there are over 25 resorts on property. And then they have the 4 theme parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. And then they also have their shopping and retail district, Disney Springs. So Disney World was built in the 70s. They decided, they needed or wanted to make more money because they had a great idea. And so it was time to, scale that idea, as those of us in business say. I would say the biggest difference I notice at Disney World is that it's spread out and there's water and there's greenery. And it feels like you're a real world away. And Disneyland is more kind of in the middle of a city. There's not a ton there is no water. It's more of a weekend destination, and Disney World is more of like a full immersive experience, in my opinion.
Let's focus on Disney World for a little while since there's so much going on there. Off the top, everyone probably asks you this, but what's your favorite park?
My favorite park at Walt Disney World is Epcot. The World Showcase is my absolute favorite place to visit in Epcot. I love that you can feel like you're traveling to different countries. Again, it's that attention to detail that they do, and they do that in each of the countries of the World Showcase, with the food, with the smells, with the music, with even like the merch they have in the different countries. You can't find anything else like it. You can't find another theme park that, you can find other theme parks that have rides and, have good theming and things like that. But the World Showcase is really unique and exceptional, in my opinion.
Okay, I have to ask this because we're talking to RV women in this podcast. Do you like to stay at the campground on site at Disney World, which is called Camp Wilderness, or do you guys stay at the resorts?
Well, it's very complicated. The campgrounds at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. So Fort Wilderness is part campground, part cabins, and it's just like everything else. It's like full wilderness immersion theming, Chip and Dale are everywhere. It's great. It can get pricey, but last year, for example, we stayed there for most of January, most of March, and then we'll be back in December for Christmas. And they allow you to stay 28 days in, and then you have to go 28 days out. 100% sure that rule is for people like me who would just park there for a very, very long time until my money ran out. Love it because it's Disney themed, right? But if you remove the Disney magic, even if you remove it, as campgrounds go, it's the sites are very private. It's a little bit tight to get in there, but they've got full hookups, concrete paved sites. Everything is kept very clean. The bathhouses are great. There's laundry in each of the loops. 2 camp stores. They've got activities going for the kids. So even if you want to go stay there without going to the parks, there's still so much you can do. They've got fishing and canoeing and 2 pools, daily activities. Another interesting thing about Fort Wilderness is they have stables on site there where they keep all of the Disney horses. So even some of the Clydesdales that you might see walking down Main Street. That's where they live and are taken care of. And there's opportunity to walk through the stables and learn about all the horses of Disney. They have horseback riding. As campgrounds go, it's pretty magnificent as well.
So we visited some friends that were staying there last winter. We haven't stayed there yet. But I was really impressed with the trees. Like, they're so huge. Like, you can tell they really have taken care of the like natural stuff going on there. Because, like a lot of Disney parks and like theme parks and stuff like that, it's like kind of like manufactured landscaping, and you're like, well, that looks new and that looks new. But these trees are so tall and old, and they built this really cool like Disney experience like in the middle of it. It's pretty cool.
There's also a family of wild turkeys that lives at Fort Wilderness, and they will come around. They'll come around to your campsite, and there are deer that roam through the campsite or the campground. So it's like the animals know too that it's a good place to be.
If someone came to you and said, money was no issue, I want the best Disney experience, tell us what you would recommend. And for example, like the number of days, like which parks would you visit? Would you do park hopper or like one park at a time? You know what I mean? Like, do you take rest days? That kind of stuff.
So if someone came to me and said that they had, money wasn't a thing, I would recommend at like a 7 or 8 day trip to Walt Disney World. I would recommend staying at the Grand Floridian or the Polynesian or the Boardwalk Inn. That's probably my favorite resort on property is the Boardwalk, and getting one of the villas at one of those properties so that they would be able to be a little bit more comfortable, have a little kitchenette, a balcony, all those good things. I would definitely recommend a fireworks view room so they could see the fireworks from either Magic Kingdom or Epcot. The best way to approach the parks is to start by doing one park each day and then decide after that where you want to go back, what you feel like you missed, what you feel like you want to do again, and then decide, okay, maybe we need 2-day park hoppers to kind of check the rest of the boxes off of our list. There's a lot of great restaurants that I would recommend for people who enjoy dining on property and at Disney Springs. Some of my favorites are, we really love Ohana at the Polynesian for breakfast. They do a character breakfast with Lilo, Stitch, Mickey, and Pluto. It has that whole like Hawaiian family theme. If you've ever been to Hawaii, everybody calls everybody cousin there. So they do that at Ohana. It's great food. We really enjoy California Grill at the Contemporary. It's up on the very top floor. It overlooks Disney or Magic Kingdom at night. I would definitely recommend a rest day or two to enjoy all the activities and the pools and the things that the resorts have to offer. Grand Floridian also has a spa. That's a bucket list item for me to do that one day. There's just so much to see and do that even staying there for months at a time, like I have with my family, there's still so many things that I want to try. But I would say 7 or 8 days would give you a really full Disney cup.
It would fill your heart full of so much magic as you go back to real life.
Yes. Your magic meter.
That's right.
Yeah. Re-entry is hard. Re-entry is hard after a Disney trip, for sure.
Gosh. What do you think are the biggest mistakes people make when they visit Disney?
Don't use a travel agent, and they think they can go it alone. It is very, very possible to plan your own Disney trip. However, you will miss things, important things. Let's just be honest. It is expensive to go to Disney, whether you go for 1 day or 1 week. It is not a cheap vacation. And so wouldn't you want to make the most of your time there by having someone who's gone before you share their tips and tricks? So I think that the number one mistake is not getting expert help. It doesn't cost any extra to use a travel agent. So I'll just put that out there. It doesn't cost my clients any extra money for my help. For whatever reason, if someone wanted to go it alone, they wanted to do all their planning, their own park reservations, their own dining reservations, that figure out how to use Genie Plus on the app all on their own. A mistake would be like trying to do it on the flight there and not taking several weeks before to practice using the app, making dining reservations 60 days ahead of time for the more popular restaurants, making park reservations, little details that really stress you out when you get there and you didn't know you needed a park reservation along with a ticket. When you spend that kind of money, you don't want to feel stressed out. And so like part of my why as a travel advisor is I want moms and dads to enjoy their Disney trip too. I don't want them to arrive already depleted and stressed out from all the planning it took. And I don't want them to feel like, oh no, I don't know how to use Genie Plus while they're in the parks, and fumbling with that kind of stuff and taking away the time from being with their families. So that was a long-winded answer to what is the biggest mistake people make. There are some great value resorts on property that are very comparable to an off-site resort, but you get the added benefit of early park entry and free transportation. You're not paying for parking. And again, you stay fully immersed in the Disney bubble if you stay on property. It makes going back to the room for like a rest in the afternoon so much easier. And it makes a huge difference, in my opinion, to stay on property versus off property. Another mistake would be going during a super duper busy week or month out of the year. It can get crowded during spring break. It gets very crowded over Christmas break. Naively, I thought everyone thinks about that. But I have been surprised by the number of times I've said to clients like, okay, just so you know, like Christmas time is the busiest time of year at Disneyland and Disney World. Are you okay with that? And people don't really even think about it because it gets people-y to where it will ruin some people's time.
So what are the best times of year to visit the Disney parks?
I wish there was a way to accurately predict the crowd levels day by day, but historically speaking and just like common sense wise, anytime children are out of school, collectively out of public school, it's going to be busier. So Thanksgiving week, Christmas, President's week, a lot of people get that whole week off now. Spring break and summertime are usually the most busy time. So the best times, in my opinion, to go are like the second, third, fourth week of January, after President's Day, but before spring break. There's a few weeks in there that are really lovely. Early September when everyone's back to school, after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving. And then usually the beginning of December, the first week of December or so is usually pretty calm.
Okay, so for people who want to go to Disney with their family, but like you described, they feel overwhelmed at the planning part, describe what it's like to work with you. Like, what does the process look like from start to finish?
Someone reaches out to me. They say, I want to go to Disney with my husband and my 3 kids. We want to go. These are some dates that are available. These are some of the things we've heard about and want to do. Can you help? And so I go to the drawing board and I start researching vacation packages that meet my clients' needs and wants. We kind of go back and forth for a bit about, I give them a few options. I like this option, but is there a bigger room? Or I like this option, but can I add a dining plan? Or, now my mother-in-law wants to come, so can she come too? Once we hammer down kind of the details of the resort they want to stay at, how many days they want to spend at the parks, and their vacation is booked, then we get down to like the details. Dining, do you want to have any character experiences? Do you want to build a lightsaber in Star Wars Land? What kinds of special things do you want to do? I have tons of resources that I share with my clients with sample park itineraries, how to use Genie Plus, we set up their account in the app. Some of my clients become like friends that I talk to like every day until their trip because they think of new questions. What if we want to go back to the hotel and rest in the afternoon? Is that okay? Things like that. So Disney Vacation Personal Assistant from the time we connect until my family's return from their trips. I just had someone before we hopped on to record. One of my clients is at Disney World right now. She asked me she's like, we just got here. We just flew in. We're not going to the parks. Where should we eat tonight? And so I gave her some recommendations. I'm like a little fairy godmother helping until, and some clients don't want that level of help. And that's okay too. It's kind of as much or as little as you want my help, I'm available.
So how far in advance should people start planning their trip? And I'm guessing you're about to say as far as you can, but like maybe give us a range. Like what's the farthest out you recommend, and then like the closest up to it that you're like, we're getting in by the skin of our teeth.
So Disney does what's called like dynamic pricing. So it pays to book early. The earlier you book, the more availability there's going to be and the lower the price is going to be. So I have some clients booking now for next summer. I also have some clients booking now for 3 weeks from now. Everyone's different as far as like kind of just how they do things. I can help in either case, but to be safe, I would say like 6 to 9 months ahead of time if you can get it together by then. The other great thing too is that if, let's say, you book with me for a Disney vacation next May, really great promotion comes out, in January of 2025, but you've already booked. It's easy peasy for me to go and apply any new promotions or any new discounts that become available to vacations that have already been booked. And the benefit is that you've already locked in your pricing. A lot of times when they announce new promotions, then the prices go up as well. But if you book early, then you've locked in your rate and we can always apply future discounts and promotions to your package.
Well, and I was just about to ask, are there ever any discounts or promos for the Disney parks or Fort Wilderness?
So Fort Wilderness, no. Sometimes they do, they'll do like 30% off the rooms at the resorts, or they'll do, right now they have like a special ticket offer going that's called like a 4-park magic ticket. And so you get 1 day to each of the parks for a discounted rate. So yes, there's always some type of discount going on. You just have to know to look for it. The campgrounds are usually not discounted, but they are comparable to the other, I would say, fancier campgrounds in the Orlando area. We kind of bounce around between them during the winter months, and it's on par with them. Sometimes there are special discounts for if you have a Disney Visa card. We have a Disney Visa card. We use it for all of we buy groceries with it. This is a long-winded answer. And then we use our rewards when we go to the park. You can like redeem your rewards. And then also Disney will offer special like incentives. Like for example, this year, if you purchased your package with your Disney Visa, you got a free dining plan, which is basically you're prepaying for 2 meals and a snack per day while you're there. I've also heard of people purchasing Disney gift cards at like Sam's Club or Target, where they get like a 5 or 10% discount on the cards, and then using those to pay for things while either you can pay for your package with gift cards or while you're there to pay for food and souvenirs and stuff. So,
man, this has been so helpful. So many like little nuggets and tips in here. I'm going to have to go back and like take my own notes for when we go back. Okay, this is a quick tangent before we wrap up. You mentioned the horses and the Clydesdales that walk around the parks during some of the parades and stuff. I have a weird question, but inquiring minds want to know. Do they hire someone specifically to scoop up the horse poop, or do they rotate that job within like a team.
Do you mean like if the horse has to go number 2 while it's out in the park, or like
if you
or
if
do you mean like in the
if you see a
stable?
parade, there's literally someone whose job is to walk behind the horse and just scoop the poop. And we're always like, oh, that poor person. Like, hopefully that's not all they have to do today. Like, is that your one job? That's such a bummer.
Well, yeah, that would be a really crappy job. They don't actually. So the horses at Disney World have these beautiful little bags that are tied around. So when they go potty, the bag catches it. So there's no horse poop anywhere.
Is that new? Because we were there in 2022 and it was like someone was definitely going behind cleaning them.
It must be new. But yeah, now that problem has been solved. They've outsourced to a leather bag.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that's not someone's job. Okay. Good job, Disney. Before I ask my last question, go ahead and share where listeners can connect with you online.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So we are on Instagram. We are Dixon's Destinations. So Dixon's_Destinations. And then you can email me. amandadixon.bestdayever@gmail.com. We've also got our little website, dixonsdestinations.com. Again, my services are free to you. Disney pays me a little commission if you book with me, but you don't. You get the same price as if you book direct. So surprisingly, I really enjoy helping my clients find the lowest cost package because the more money you save, I feel like they have a better time. So anyway.
Everybody loves a deal. That's good. And we'll put all those...
Everybody, right?
We'll put all those links in the show notes too, so everyone can just have easy access to click and connect with you. Okay, Amanda, when you think back to the version of yourself before your full-time travel life, when you were living in Texas, and the version of you now as a nomad and a Disney travel agent, what has changed?
What has changed for me is a profound sense of peace, being okay with where I am and not worrying so much about where we're going, but just enjoying right now and knowing that me and my family, we have everything we need within us to live a happy, healthy life, whether it's in a 300-foot trailer or somewhere else. So just that peace, a deep sense of peace of like everything is as it should be and everything will be as it should be when the time is right, is what has changed for me. I've felt prior to travel life like something was missing or we were always reaching for what was next. And I don't feel that anymore.
Juicy stuff. I love it. And I can totally relate too.
I think a lot of other RVers could relate probably. The other big thing that changed for me is that, I didn't go to, I have a master's degree in education. I didn't go to spend 7 years in college to become a Disney travel agent because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, right? I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing with my education and my experience. And while I am still very passionate about a lot of things related to my previous career, it wasn't fun. It didn't always bring me joy. It had a lot of heavy components to it. Our education system and talking about that is very heavy. Talking to parents about child development is very heavy. But this job is just light and fun, and I get to help families experience joy and make up magical memories together. And it's wonderful to be at this stage in my life where I'm doing something that is solely because I want to do it. I want to do it and it's fun and it brings me joy. It's not what I think I should be doing, or it's not for the money, even though the money is obviously helpful. It's just because I want to. And so that's been really great.
I love that so much. That's such a gift. And I can relate too. There were definitely like decades of my life that I'm like trying to help change the world and do all these like big things and, change the system. And then at the end of the day, it's like, why am I pushing this boulder up a mountain. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. And what the conclusion I came to is kind of similar to you, is like, it's going to make a bigger difference in the world if I can just be happy and full of light and be a good mom and a good wife and like good to the people around me in my circle and just help uplift people rather than trying to like change the system.
It's hard to feel like you're beating your head against a wall every day trying to change something that's not budging. And look at you now. I mean, how many women are in RV Queens, and it's changed my life, and I know it's changed, dozens of other women's lives too. And you brought us all together. And from the outside world, it might seem like, oh, it's just RV women connecting, but it's very powerful to bring women together to be able to connect. And so I think you and I both are a testament to find what lights you up or what really makes you happy. And that's the best thing that you can do.
And thank you for inspiring us all with Disney tips and tricks and magic today, and for being on the show. I really enjoyed this conversation and getting to know you.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, I will see you on the road. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode and for being my favorite part of RV life. If you could please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, that would be awesome. And listen, if you want to have conversations like I had on this episode with your fellow RV women, head to rvqueenspodcast.com/community and choose your RV Queen circle today. All right, guys, I'll see you next week, or hopefully I will see you on the road. How do you just pick?